Our schools have many responsibilities. Preparing students for work and higher education is one function. Another function is that of developing leadership skills and required work skills to work with others. For several years, a Naval Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps unit headquartered at Wheeling High School has been serving District 214 area students. Most of us know this unit as the NJROTC. Students from the several District 214 high schools, as well as St. Vitus and homeschooled students, are eligible to join. The group meets on Wednesday evening, 4:30 to 8:30 at Wheeling High School, and follows a prescribed course of Naval Science Studies. Students have an opportunity to participate in various field trips during the course of their training. Today, Plain Speaking is focusing on the NJROTC. We will have an opportunity to meet some of the students involved in the leadership of the Wheeling unit. We'll explore the objectives of NJROTC, what it is and what it is not. Joining us is Jerry Egler, Naval Science Instructor, and Robert Featherstone, Cadet Commander. I think, Bob or Jerry, if I could just start with you and just tell us a minute, if you would, what is the NJROTC and what its brief history and so on?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about it. It's a congressionally mandated program that started in the 1960s, designed to teach citizenship and leadership to high school students. And at Wheeling High School, it's been there for almost, well, it's our 30th year.
30 years?
30 years at Wheeling High School. And it's a high school elective class. A lot of people think it's a lot of different things, and we do many different things, but it's a high school elective class, and we're fortunate that we're structured the way we are.
What do you mean by a high school elective class?
It's an actual course. We are certified by the Navy to teach the course, and in partnership with the school and the school district, we teach a course that involves textbooks and tests and quizzes and homework and all that, but also because of we're unique in that we also have a little bit of drill, and we expect the cadets to wear a uniform that we provide once a week, and then there's all kinds of additional things that we provide that most high school classes can't provide.
Now, you said this is a congressional mandated. It's not a department of the military that's mandated.
No, in fact, Congress takes great pride in the fact that they've managed to keep the program alive despite the services sometimes run out of money to fund it, and whenever that happens, Congress always says, no, wait a minute, this is our program, not yours. The one thing we're not is we're not recruiters. People think that we're recruiters, and Robert Featherstone here can tell you that I say multiple times during the year, I'm not here to put anybody in the military, but if you want to join the military, come talk to me because I can talk about it.
So this at least gives any of the participants a flavor of what military is, military life, and some of the objectives, but you're not there to try to recruit kids and to get them involved.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm. I'm happy if they choose to do that, and one of the benefits of our program is scholarship opportunities and advanced standing if you enlist. But if my seniors decide not to go, that's fine with me too, because if they spend some time with us over the course of the 3 or 4 years, the best way to start is to start as a freshman or a sophomore. And as a junior or a senior, I put you in charge of running the other students. You decide how to run the drill in the evening. You decide all sorts of things about the program. And I expect and Rob can tell you when people come up to me and say, well, what are we going to do now, Commander? I say, I don't know. What do you think we should do?
So you really then delegate responsibility, and students have an opportunity to understand what their responsibilities are and to execute those.
And a chance to learn how to handle that. Mm-hmm. As Rob will tell you, he worked his way up to where he is now, and along the way he learned some pretty good skills.
Rob, what attracted you to the NJROTC, and where did you first hear about it anyway?
Well, I've been interested in the military ever since I was really little. But I was attracted to more of the surface characteristics, and I wanted to get a better background of what it's really about. And I heard about it through my guidance counselor at Rolling Meadows High School, and she thought it would be good for me to join it, and so I thought I'd give it a shot. And
that was as a freshman?
As a freshman, yes, sir. And I joined, and now I love it. I got to learn a lot of inside information about the military I didn't know before.
Is it up to expectations so far?
Most definitely, sir.
Now, we talked about this being headquartered at Wheeling, and you said you're from Rolling Meadows. How does that work out?
Well, the 6 schools in the districts, as well as St. Vitus and homeschool students, are eligible for the program, and schools that are otherwise or other than Wheeling High School are bused. There's an opportunity to take a bus to Wheeling High School in the afternoon and bus back to their home school after the program. And I took the bus up until junior year, and this year I had my own vehicle, so I drive up there now.
But besides the students, the evening program that we have, it's a regularly scheduled class in Wheeling during the day. So we're unique. There's probably 6 schools in the nation. There's 434 units that the Navy has around the country, and there's 5 or 6 that are structured like we are, where you're headquartered in a school. The students who during the daytime can take the class as a daytime class, and then the buses, like Rob said, pick you up on Wednesday night.
Now, is that where the elective part of it comes in? So the student at Wheeling High School, if they enroll in your program, they meet every day for 1 or 2 classes or whatever is required?
Just like a regular class, and Wheeling's currently on a block schedule. So we're kind of a complete, unusual combination in the nation, but it falls under a social studies elective credit. It doesn't fulfill any graduation requirement except in your credit total.
And students that now at Wheeling are able to enroll, and they would attend classes on
During
a
the
regular
day.
basis. Now, on the other hand, Rob, you come from Rolling Meadows High School, and you only come on Wednesday. Is
Only
that
on
correct?
Wednesdays.
Now, is this also an elective credit for you? Do you get the same credit as a Wheeling
Yes, sir, we
student?
do.
We're fortunate that School District 214 allows us to do it that way, so it counts as a credit everywhere.
And now, the Wheeling High School students, then they would go to class if they had taken it as an elective during the day, every day, and then do they also double up and go with the same schedule on Wednesday, or are there some options there?
No, sir. The Wheeling cadets that take the class during the day do not arrive at Wheeling High School again until approximately 6:30 for drill. We have drilling period from 6:30 to about 8 o'clock, and that's when they're required to be there. However, since they take the class during the day, they do not need to be there for the classroom session after school.
I see. So they're covering fundamentally the same things during the daytime that you folks cover in the evening?
Yes.
So we do a week's worth of stuff between 4:30 and 8:30 on a Wednesday night, so it moves pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. Now you have students, you said, from any one of our high schools. Do you have any students who are not District 214 or students at this point?
We do. One student who tried to stand up a unit in another district was incredibly persistent, and he was so persistent and dedicated about joining the program that he's paying tuition out of district to come to the program.
So he's a non-resident of District 214, and he's paying out-of-district tuition in order to be fully enrolled in our district.
Yes, sir.
And then has also then enrolled in NJROTC.
And that's not something I want to encourage. That's unusual, but he is.
Yeah.
As it turns out, in the course of the time when he was trying to start a unit at his district, his school, there was no way. But recently, Congress said to the Navy and the other services, you need to take this program more seriously, find the money, and surprise, surprise, the Navy's found the money to stand up some more units. So I would think that his persistence is one of the evidences that the program is very attractive to some people because of the benefits, and so they're willing to pay to come. So
That's I think a compliment to your unit and
But
its
it's
functions, by the way. We're going to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back to talk further about the NJROTC.
We know you have a choice, but competition breeds success. And with AT&T Cable Services, you win.
Hi, I'm Kathy Koo. With broadband technology, we provide your cable television service, and in the future, your high-speed cable internet and local telephone services. Better technology means a better value, and that is our goal.
When I was a little girl, a teacher gave me an important gift. She opened my eyes to the love of learning. To inspire learning today, many teachers turn to cable in the classroom, For 10 years, Cable has helped teachers teach by donating technology to schools. With commercial-free educational programs and internet support, Cable in the Classroom helps teachers help kids. In my eyes, that's a powerful gift.
Cable in the Classroom is a public service of AT&T Cable Services.
As the American military gets smaller, who will be there to answer the call? They will. They're the National Guard and Reserve, and they make up half of today's military forces. As an employer, you may be asked to support their mission. Remember, their response depends on yours.
It's time for revolution, revolution.
We're fortunate to have another student join us here on our program. I'd like to introduce Crystal Downey, who is a cadet ensign at the Wheeling High School NJROTC unit. Thanks for joining us, Crystal. Jerry, I wonder if you could take a few minutes or a short time here and explain to us what are the requirements for joining? Rob said he had heard about it and enrolled.
Well, the requirements are that you live within the boundaries of School District 214 and that you're a high school student. And other than that, you have to be able to participate in our activities, and we will make arrangements for those who may have some special need as long as they can go to school and participate. The maximum benefit is your average student. So there are no other requirements other than being enrolled in a school in 214 or you live within the boundaries of 214.
And I understand from what you said, Rob, that if you are from a different high school, at least a 214 high school, that a bus is provided, pick you up at the school, and return you there after they finish at 8:30. Is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
How about the St. Vitus, for example? Do they have to go to one of the local public high schools, or what?
Well, St. Vitus District is fairly close to Wheeling, so usually they find their own transportation to and from the high school.
Okay. Crystal, whatever attracted you to NJROTC anyway? Now, you said you're from Buffalo Grove High School,
Yes,
is that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Well, it just started when I was young. I was always interested in the military from my father. And then when I was enrolling in high school, I saw that they offered a military-like class called NJROTC. So I thought I'd enroll in that and just see what it was like, and I enjoyed it very much. So.
And how long, what year in school are you now? How long have you been enrolled?
I'm a junior, and I've been enrolled since my freshman year, so it's 3 years.
So you've been 3 years, and now you're a cadet ensign, is that right?
Yes, sir.
What are your aspirations? Are you looking at the military as a career, or is this a high school experience at this point, or are you just thinking, or what?
Well, actually, I'm looking into the service academies, preferably the Naval Academy. And after that, I'd like to enlist in the Navy or go straight into the Navy and either become a pilot or a photographer for the military.
Oh, that's interesting. Rob, tell us a little bit. Now, you said you started as a freshman. How do you get from being a freshman to a senior, and what are the stages you went through as far as the training went?
Okay, well, all first-year cadets begin in training platoon, where they learn basic military drill, general orders, that sort of thing. And then I was moved up into blue platoon, where I eventually became a squad leader. From blue platoon, I went to work in supply.
Is the blue platoon, is that just a designation of a particular group, or does it imply certain responsibilities?
No responsibilities.
Okay.
There was 3 platoons at that time, so one of 3 platoons.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to work in supply, issuing out uniforms, learning the ropes of that organization. And then I became a supply officer. Last year, I was a supply officer for approximately a year, and then towards the end of last year, I became the acting operations officer, right below the executive officer, and this year, I am the battalion commanding officer.
And how did you get to be selected as the battalion? Is that based on what criteria?
Well, usually one of the criteria for becoming the battalion commanding officer is attending Leadership Academy. of which I attended and graduated with distinction. And
Congratulations.
thank you very much, sir. And in order to go to Leadership Academy, you need to prove that you have potential to be a leader, which includes developing your skills to be a follower.
That's an interesting observation. To be a leader, you have to be a good follower.
Yes,
too.
sir.
How about you, Crystal? What has your experience been in over the 3 years?
My freshman year, I started out in our female platoon like any other, or first I started out in training like any other freshman. Then I get moved into a female platoon, which we do not currently have now, but we had that my freshman and sophomore year in the beginning of our junior year. Then after female platoon, I assumed the responsibility of our color guard commanding officer, which is a drill team, is our color guard. And then after I became color guard commanding officer, I applied for training platoon commander this year, and I received the job. And along with becoming training platoon commander, I also became our operations officer at the same time.
So and what is an operations officer?
Operations officer, basically there's 3 people basically in charge, and it's your commanding officer, your executive officer, and then the operations officer. So I'm kind of the lower of the 3, but whenever the executive officer is not there, I assume his responsibilities and basically just help out the 2 in charge.
Mm-hmm. And now you mentioned the Leadership Academy. Is that something that you run, Jerry, or is that something held somewhere else?
It's held, we work for an area manager, and our area manager happens to currently reside at Great Lakes, and he owns the whole Midwest plus part of the Pacific Northwest. And he
is a full-time
He's an active duty
duty
commander.
Mm-hmm.
And because another thing is that we naval science instructors are retired, and he puts on at least one or there's like 3 leadership academies I think he puts on a year. And for our area, we're fortunate to be by the Navy's only boot camp, so he gets us a week at boot camp and puts on a leadership academy. And how do you get selected? Well, you have to be somebody like these 2 in order to get selected to go, and that's the cream of the crop of all the NJROTC units in the nation. So it's a pretty good group.
So selection then is competitive?
Very competitive to get to Leadership Academy.
And is it you called him the area commander? Or?
He's our area manager.
Manager. Now, is it his decision who comes, or is that your decision?
He sets the standard. You have to have a B average. You have to have earned the physical fitness ribbon. You have to have a significant job, or will play a significant job the following year, and a couple other things he comes up with. And we select within our own unit who's going to go, and they go up to a Leadership Academy, and it's, how many weeks is it?
1 week.
It's only 1 week long.
And where was that? At Great
Lakes.
Uh-huh.
And our Rob mentioned, he was about to mention, we have a thing called mini boot camp as well, which is usually the first step to go to Leadership Academy. And mini boot camp is a 2-week evolution, and if you survive mini boot camp and then have a significant job in a unit, then you can be selected for Leadership Academy, which is even more selective and competitive.
Now, you've been at Leadership Academy already.
Yes, sir.
And if Crystal, have you been there yet?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that. You know, how did it benefit you anyway? Why would it benefit any student if they were selected?
Well, when we got up there, up at Great Lakes, it was kind of scary, meeting new people and everything. But throughout the week, you go through many different sessions and classes where you learn to become a good leader and how to deal with a high school student dealing with high school students, because that's usually a big thing in ROTC, is to get younger people before you, their respect and just their cooperativeness and everything. So it was a great experience, and you earn a lot of camaraderie with your fellow cadets when you're up there.
As you look back, Rob, now you're a senior, so you'll
Yes.
be graduating in a matter of a few months now, right?
51 days, sir.
You got it down, good.
Yes.
What are your aspirations? I think you had mentioned you're interested in a career in the service, in the military?
Yes, well, last Wednesday I was notified of an appointment to the United States Naval Academy.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I've been waiting on that for a month, and I finally received it, and that's where I plan on attending. 30th of June is when plebe summer begins.
Uh-huh. What do you expect the Naval Academy to be like anyway?
It's going to be tough, full of challenges, but also many rewards.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about how you evaluate your experience. And do you call it just the ROTC? Is that what you call it? Or do you always put NJ in front of it? I'm curious.
Quite often you just refer to it as the ROTC.
Okay.
Specifically, it is the NJROTC.
Okay,
But
A little easier to abbreviate.
Yes.
Or
Okay.
ROTC.
Yeah,
also.
okay. I remember that more than the NJ part of it, you see. What have, as you look back over the last 4 years, Rob, you know, what have you learned? And I'm going to ask you the same question, Kristen.
Well, the experience was great. When I was about ready to begin high school, I was quite nervous. I was just moving here from another town, and I didn't have many friends. And it was a great bonding experience. I got to meet many new people that had a lot of the same characteristics as I do, and began a circle of friends pretty much.
Rob, I see. I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to let you expand on that a little bit more. If you'll stay with us, we'll be right back. We're going to take a very short break.
I love learning. Discovering things people might not know. Did you know they're the size of a squirrel when they're born? I learn a lot watching programs on cable.
Now with AT&T digital cable, I get even more channels that teach me things. New channels like Home and Garden TV and the Sci-Fi Channel and the History Channel, all through the cable I already have.
That is one big bear.
AT&T Digital Cable. For more channels that interest you, call now.
For anyone who believes there should always be someone to bring relief when people need it most. For anyone who thinks people in need can mean any people, anytime, any place. For anyone who believes a little knowledge taught in a lot of neighborhoods can make a family safer, then you must believe the Red Cross is a pretty great thing. To do all this, the Red Cross needs your generosity. Please call now and offer your support, because help can't wait.
Let's decide if we should print the names of people caught stealing cable.
I don't think this newspaper should be in the business of...
Public humiliation?
Exactly.
You're stealing cable, aren't you?
Tough times, huh, Bob? Stealing cable?
What's next? Checking phone booths for change.
Bobby, guys like you ruin TV reception, and we get stuck with higher cable prices.
Nobody likes a cable thief. Call today and legalize your connection.
Okay, show of hands. Publish names?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want more from your cable company? I do too. That means when you tell us what you want, we listen. Then we get to work. So, do you want more from our cable company? You got it.
I'm Colleen Abdullah. The future holds exciting new developments. We started with digital cable, and there's more to come to you, our valued customer.
Rob, just before the break, you were telling us a little bit about your experiences. Why don't you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Okay, well, back to my experience. It's pretty much the greatest experience of my high school career. I was on the baseball team, got to meet many friends through that, but the ROTC, I learned the most. I mean, I've studied obviously other classes in my high school, but ROTC is the one class where I've learned the most.
And you found it obviously exciting. And
most definitely.
And how about you, Crystal? As you evaluate the last 3 years of your experience?
I'd have to agree with Rob. Not only do you meet so many different people and develop great friends, you also get to have many opportunities. Like, for example, we took a trip to Florida, and we always go on trips up to Indianapolis for drill meets, and just all around you have so many good opportunities.
You mean you just went down to take a tour of Florida to see what the state was like, or what?
Well, we go down there and we stay, actually this year we stayed in Gulfport, Mississippi, and then we also go and we visit Pensacola, Florida, and there's some different bases down there that we go visit.
So the trip is to visit the military bases there.
And see what it's like.
And you've had a chance then to visit several bases?
Yes, I've visited at least 4. So.
You too, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Jerry, tell us a little bit more about, who is it that does the instruction? What is the instruction that you give? You mentioned there is a curriculum, and you've got books and homework. What do you teach?
Well, we have a 4-year curriculum, and it has a regular textbook that's for the first 3 years, and we teach naval history and a little bit about military law and oceanography, meteorology, to say naval orientation, what the ranks mean, and how the Navy's built. And the 4th year is when the seniors, the textbook is a compilation of a Naval Academy leadership textbook. We do some readings from that. We have some movies that the Navy bought us, like Cane Mutiny and 12 O'Clock High, that we show. to show people in leadership situations. The instructors, I'm one of three. All three of us are retired career Navy, and to be an instructor in a unit, you have to be retired Navy, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard, all the sea services.
And you have three instructors who are full-time at Wheeling High School?
Full-time. We manage to stay busy during the day, and on Wednesday night, we're very busy.
If students are interested in joining, how do they just have to depend on their local counselors, or are you even interested in more students?
Absolutely. We're always interested in anyone who might be interested in us. If they are already attending a 214 school, just go see their guidance counselor. If their guidance counselor has any questions, they can give me a call over at Wheeling High School at 718-7115, or just look. We're in the phone book under NJROTC at Wheeling High School, and I can explain to any student or to any parent what the program involves, because it involves no cost. The Navy supplies the uniforms, the Navy supplies the textbooks, the Navy supplies just about everything.
Oh. And the uniforms, what, loaned to you then? Is that?
Well, loaned.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say loaned. It's given to you freshman year, and then when you either leave the program or graduate senior year, you must give all the uniform articles back.
Or you grow out of it.
Or you grow out of it. Well, I guess that would happen too. Now, both of you happen to be interested in a military career. Is that true for all of the students, though?
No, not at all. A lot of my friends who are in ROTC are just in it because they want to have the experience, and you do develop great friendships with many people. So you don't have to be interested in the military and developing a military career after high school.
Have a number of your friends finished high school and gone on to college, not in the military or not following?
Yes.
What do you feel is your basic preparation? If you weren't going into the Naval Academy now, what would your background equip you to do to study at college, let's say?
Well, I would say just about anything. You get a lot of, I want to say, knowledge about life through our program. It's not, I mean, you learn a lot of stuff out of the book, but it's a lot of knowledge about life and how to deal with certain situations.
So leadership then is a real fundamental part of what you try to teach?
Yes, sir. And teach, it's an experience. There's a term in one of the books. It's a guided leadership experience, or a guided leadership laboratory, more than sitting down and reading a book.
So then leadership is really an identified part of the curriculum.
Oh, absolutely.
And you've got a unit on leadership.
Oh, the fourth year is entirely leadership, and beginning with Naval Science 1, we talk about followership, just like Rob said. And we teach you have to be a good follower to be a good leader. Okay, then next year it's time to start thinking about leadership. By the time you're a junior, you're in a leadership role.
Well, you know, you've certainly enlightened me, and I'm very interested for a number of reasons to know more about your program. And you're saying to me, I guess, that you'd like to have more students, and
definitely.
that the opportunity exists, and you've arranged for transportation so that any student can somehow manage. I'd like to thank Jerry Egler, Naval Science Instructor, Robert Featherstone, Cadet Commander, and Crystal Downey, Cadet Ensign of the NJROTC, for joining us on Plain Speaking. We would like to send you a Plain Speaking program schedule. Please send an email to blaine@interaccess.com to be placed on our mailing list. For information on this and other programs, please phone us at 847-255-8410 or contact us online at www.plainspeaking.com. Copies of Plain Speaking are available for loan at the Mount Prospect Public Library. I'm Bill Blaine. Please join me for the next edition of Plain Speaking.
When you watch AT&T Cable, what do you see? Something hilarious? Something amazing? Something exciting? We see the future. Digital cable with what you want when you want it. Internet at the speed of thought. And new links to anyone, anywhere. We see a world of possibilities.